Assalamu alaikum, everyone. I hope you all are doing amazing. And thank you so much for joining the webinar today. Just for my introduction, I am Aksar Rahman. I am working as a Community and Engagements Manager at Edversity. And today, the webinar that we are holding is by Edversity. A little introduction about the company. Edversity is basically an educational tech platform, and we want to have more and more people involved in tech in Pakistan. Edversity is based in Pakistan and in Saudi Arabia as well. Today, the speaker that we have for the webinar is Awais Kamran. Awais, thank you so much for joining us for the session today. Awais Kamran is a software architect with over 12 years of experience building scalable AI-driven products. He specializes in architecting AI and agentic systems and has taught AI to learners at every level. Thank you so much, Awais, for accepting this invitation and joining us today. The stage is yours. You can take the floor fully. Just some ground rules when we are starting the webinar. Please do not interrupt the speaker when he's speaking. If you have any questions, drop all the questions in the chat section. Also, you can ask these questions at the end of the session as well. We have a few. We will be securing a few minutes for the question answer session as well. Thank you so much, Awais. Over to you.
Hey everyone, thank you, Aksa, for the kind introduction. Hi to everybody. I hope we have quite a bit of a number. Okay, so yeah, so I have my chat open. If you guys have any questions or anything like that, you can drop in your comments. I'll try my best to actually, toggle between both my screens and answer your questions if there are any. Okay, so today's session is about, thank you, by the way, Edversity. I forgot to give you guys a shout out in terms of, inviting me, and thank you for the floor. And yeah, I hope we'll have a good session. So normally, most of my talks, most of my sessions, I like to keep it very interactive and they're storytelling based. So before I begin, just to make sure, can you guys just drop in your hearts so that I can see that how many people are okay? Cool, lots of hearts. Oh, awesome. So yeah, by the time as I go on, as the talk proceeds, I might ask for your feedback, and please don't shy away from throwing in hearts or relevant emojis. Thank you so much. All right, still coming in, lots of hearts. Let me share my screen and we can start. All right, quick check-in. Can you see my screens? Can you drop a thumbs up? All right, that's what I'm talking about. Awesome. So today's session is about probably the most popular, AI tool provider, Anthropic's Claude, which happens to be probably the #1 AI provider right now in the world, and Claude Code being the most used product around the world. I mean, I use it every day, my friends use it every day, and it's the most popular thing. So, but yeah, I hope you guys are from like relevant semesters. So some of the concept I've tried my best to keep it very simple, very, engaging, and I hope that this will help you understand a few concepts as well. So I'll start. You guys can drop in your comments. I'll be asking questions, so you can just drop in your comments, and I'll be interacting with you guys through the comment section. So yeah, okay. So a very basic question. Let's say you have one server, which you're seeing on the screen right now, this one here. So let's say I want the server to interact with this particular application. Now, this is a Slack application. This can be any application of sort. So what would I do? What is the method of interactivity? So when I say this is a server, this can be a local host server as well. a common theme here is that, it's an LLM based server. So you have built an application which has an LLM integration, and I want to interact, or I want my LLM to have access to Slack. So yeah, most of you guys are right. We will be using APIs. So that's right. But the thing is, that's how I will shape it up, right? So I would have like my existing server, and then there will be a middleware in between. When I say middleware can be anything. Middleware can be another server, just like I have sort of denoted it here. Like it's going to be another server, and we can call it a middleware. The reason it's called a middleware, because it's actually sitting in the middle between your existing server and your application. So that's the whole deal here. Okay, so let's move forward. This here makes sense. So that's how I'll actually do it. Can anybody tell me that why would I need this middleware server in the first place? Why can't I just directly talk to Slack? Or, we're keeping an exam for security, right? So Slack, for example, you guys have a university and you guys have a portal, and you won't let anybody just access your portal. Obviously, there will be a security protocol there. You would have to log into your portal and then access it. Is that correct? So Slack either can build its own middleware server and give it, build its own server, and you can access that server yourself, or you can write a middleware yourself using some APIs that Slack actually provides you. So there are only two methods that you can do that, even in the real world today. Now, what about this scenario? What about we have Canva, another product, and now your server wants to interact to Canva? Like, what would I do now? We can directly connect them through HTTP. Yeah, you can directly connect them through HTTP, but that's not how it goes. These are big platforms. So most of these big platforms, they have, they expose APIs that you can use. So for that, you need something that sits in the middle and talks to those exposed API. MCP, it's a bit too early to say that. We will get there, but it's just a comment like, okay, we have our server, we are talking to Slack, but I also want to talk to Canva now. So what can I do? That's correct. We would need another middleware to actually access Canva. So here's how it was. We wanted to use Slack. We built or leverage a middleware that existed. Now we want to access Canva, and we need another middleware for that. Do you guys see the problem here? Like, as many products I want to access, I would have to write these middleware programs or code to let me or my local host sort of access these applications. So this seems like a lot of work. I'm not used to this much of work. So what can I do? But okay, let's build upon this. What if now there comes your friend and he's like, okay, I want to access these servers too. I like the solution that you've built. You're accessing Slack. You're taking in, a few updates on Slack. You can talk to Canva directly, and I want access to your product. Now, what would this guy be doing? Any ideas? How will this guy sort of interact with Canva or interact with Slack? Connect to those servers. That's correct. So that's the only way to do that. So it actually connected to these middlewares that we have already built, or as we discussed, there are only two ways. Either you build them or either these products provide you these middleware. So there's no other way. But if you see, we started from here. Like we started all the way from here. This seemed like a very simple solution, and now it's just gotten messier as we've tried to scale it. I mean, as many products we add, as many servers we add, this is turning into a nightmare. This looks like a big code spaghetti, right? And I don't think that's a good solution. Is this a good solution? What are the caveats of this solution? Okay, so I got my first no. How many of you think it's not a good solution? So a lot of no's. I'm with you guys. Not scalable. Okay, that's a good thought. So a lot of people are saying it's not scalable. Why is it not scalable? I mean, I have a server. There's another server. I'm just talking to Slack through API. This is talking to API. This guy's happy as well. Everybody's happy. Let's just go home and let's not. It's too much repeated code. That's right. A lot of requests. That's also correct. Someone says, Mas says, every time a person come in, we have to connect him to all middlewares, which is hard. Yes, that is a huge problem. So you have middleware 1, you have middleware 2. If you want to add new folks, for example, more servers, then you would have to connect them to these middlewares. And every single time you have to leverage it. But the problem is if you need another product, let's say I want to add something else. And for those, I have to build middleware servers. So that is a big problem. Every single time I want to add a product, I want to, hi, Mohammad Saad, you're scrolling a lot on your screen. It's kind of distracting. Can you please not? Thank you. All right. So more products, more middlewares, more servers, more connections, not a scalable solution. So now, when LLMs actually came into existence, this was the only thing that we were doing. That was the only way to talk to the real world outside. So LLM itself, it's just something, a bunch of data that you train on. And that has a limit, that has a knowledge cutoff dates. For example, all the LLMs that you have today, for example, GPT, OpenAI 5.6, or Gemini 3.6, all of them are trained on previous data. Most of them just have data which was like 3 months old. So they don't know what's happening right now. So they need the web. And if you want your LLM to do a particular task, which is regarding different products, something like these, and you want them to interact with them, there is no way to interact with them but to write your own middleware stuff and to interact with that. Now, the problem is it's a scalability hell because there are so many servers, so many connections, and there's no way around it. But there is sort of a way around it, and let's talk about that. And that's the whole story. This whole story was based on the fact so that I can lay out the foundation of what basically MCP is. So let me just scroll this and find, yeah. Let's talk about this a bit. So let's say you have N providers, and let me just explain this real quick. So this is Nginx. If you guys don't know about it, Nginx is just like a server that you can use in the cloud, something like that. This can be a local host server, something that you guys can run on your laptops or machines. This is EC2. If you guys are accustomed with AWS, so EC2 is the minimal computation unit. It's like a server that you can build on. You can create your server using EC2. That's what you need to know. This is Lambda, yet another service. So all of these end providers are more like execution units. And you have a particular LLM sitting in between. And you have a particular database, which is hosted somewhere. You have your GitHub repository, you have internet, and you have Slack. Now, the thing is, if you want your server, local host server, to connect with LLM and you want your LLM to expose multiple connections to all of these products, this is how it would look like. So you would need middleware servers for all these products, just like we just discussed. So all of these servers is something that you can write yourself. These are connected through APIs. Where will you actually get these APIs? Well, these products, for example, GitHub provides you APIs. If you need web, obviously you have Google search. If you want to leverage Slack, obviously you would need APIs. If you have your own database, there will be no APIs, but you have to create your server in that manner. So let's say you want one of the servers right here to interact with a couple of these servers. So this is what it would look like. So you have one source and M connections, which is sort of bad. But this is just one source. What if I want to add this source? If I go ahead and add all of these sources, this is what I get. So it reminds me of Sam Raimi's Spider-Man actually holding on to the train. So it's kind of not a very good solution, right? So it is extremely bad, and you can see, the kind of spaghetti code that you would actually run into. And best of luck maintaining that code, because every single time something changes here, something's gonna change here. Something changes here, you gotta change it here. Something changes here, you gotta change it here. GitHub says, hey, we updated your API, so now you have to change it here, and you have to change it here. It's a nightmare. Now, that was a big problem for like the last few years, probably before 2025, because everybody was building this. And this is not maintainable. This is expensive, not maintainable, not scalable, and it's a hassle. Like if I want to add stuff, it's a nightmare for me. So what do we do? And that's the question, like, what was a good solution for this problem? We have a problem. We see the problem. We can feel the problem. The diagram screams that it's a problem, but how to fix it? Well, that's when Anthropic actually chose to release. Now, again, I want you guys to see this here. You had N providers and M applications. So these are like, consider them as N providers. And these are like M applications. The number of connections, if you can count it, is N into M, right? But MCP is more like a uniform framework. And what it does, it just eases everything. Now, all of these applications would have a MCP compliant server, which will exist right here. And you just have to connect your sources to it. So the N into M problem just became N plus M problem. Isn't that great? So it's like, in terms of algorithm analysis, it just solved a lot of problems for us. Now we don't have to really think about scalability issues. Now we don't have to think about, maintainability issues, because it's not ours to maintain. MCP will be maintaining it. And MCP was released by Anthropic in 2025, I believe April, somewhere around the summer. I don't know exactly the date, but it was released somewhere around that. And what they did is like they were like, okay, for all these applications to be compatible, for any source to access them, all you have to do is provide an MCP server. So now all these different big providers have their own servers, and I can show you one of them. So this is, and let me, okay. Can you guys see the screen? I hope we get the recording since I'm facing internet issues. Yeah, we're recording this session. You'll get the recording. Don't worry. Okay, so you guys see the screen. And here's GitHub's official MCP server. Now, if I go here, this is just a GitHub code, and this is where they actually tell you how you can use this GitHub MCP server. Let's say you have projects and you put them on GitHub. You can use this MCP server with your VS Code and easily manage everything. You can just tell them to open a PR or just move my code here, do this and that. It would do it for you. You won't have to do it manually. So that's the beauty of MCP servers. And every product out there is now, it's kind of compulsory for them to have an MCP server, which is an official MCP server. So that's the beauty of it. So the one takeaway that you can sort of take from this particular session is that how this particular problem, N into M problem, became N plus M problem. So that's one thing. And it's very simplistic. All you have to do is just run one or two commands and you can easily connect to any source. I just listed a few sources here. So that's the whole take around how MCP works. So any questions up till now so that we can move forward? If you have, you can drop them into the comment section. Okay, thumbs up means all is good. What is MCP? Okay, very good question. I was hoping somebody would ask it, so I have to go up here. So I have a question for you. So you guys told me that the only way for a server to talk to an application is this particular thing here. So if you have an application and a server, you can just talk through APIs, right? That's one way. And APIs, this is how APIs work, right? So you have a browser and you send an API, like, okay, if you have a server which has a lot of users in it, so you can just say, okay, tell me about users 123. 123 can be my ID, let's say. So now it would actually send you the response that, okay, there's this guy whose name is Awais and his ID is 123. But MCP, on the other hand, is a way where a web application, a user through a code editor, or an agent even. So we have a lot of agents around us these days. So in this particular case, only one entity can interact with the server. But here in MCP, the thing is that you can now talk to a lot of different entities can talk to one server. And MCP is not about, it's not something like this. In APIs, when you ask something, you get a response. That's not how MCP works. MCP is a way or a protocol where you can invoke a method that is already residing on a server. Let's say you have a server. This is an MCP server, and it offers you a get weather, function. And it can talk to other servers to get the weather, or it can have its own logic in place. But the way you would actually invoke it is through JSON RPC. Now, JSON RPC is a method. It's just you guys know what JSON means, right? You're not too alienated with JSON. So okay, yes. So JSON is just a way, this whole collection, these curly brackets, this is JSON. So you would actually, and JSON RPC is a messaging format that MCP uses. So in this format, you just tell, okay, I want this method, get weather method, and the parameters are city, Lahore, and you assign a particular ID. Now, when this particular JSON is received by the server, it would actually say, okay, what does the method say? Get weather. Do I have get weather? Let me check. Oh, I have get weather right here. Cool. What do I do next? What do I put into get weather? I need city. Well, where's the city? Okay, I have a parameter key here. What does it say? Lahore. All right, put Lahore in here. And once it's executed, all right, so this is the temperature. Let me send it back to the whoever called it. And the temperature is this, 35 degrees. I hope it made sense. I tried to be as simple as I could. So this is how it works. This is how MCP in general is, and that's how it's different from, the API. All you have to remember here is that API, one entity, MCP, multiple entities. So now, and again, in the API scenario, we talked about how brutal this whole thing was. This whole idea about having N into M. These are all APIs. And if you go ahead and building these APIs, try to communicate with these APIs, this is the mess you would get. Okay, a couple of questions. Let me read through it. Sir, how MCP server communicate with multiple agents? I'll actually explain it in a bit, so hold on to it. Okay, so after that, can we consider it as a replacement of API? Not actually. You can, you can invoke MCP through an API even. There are a lot of different products who have MCP servers on their own, and they expose it through APIs. So you have to talk to them through APIs. So it's not a replacement. You can say it's more like an API for AI agents. On the diagram that we saw, where JSON RPC works with three entities: browser, user, and agent. So agent can use MCP to talk to different other sources. Okay, another question: how multiple agents communicate through MCP? Yeah, we'll get into that. I have that section planned. How does init fits into all of this? Init uses MCP for all the integrations. There's no way, and they have either they have written the servers, or I'm pretty sure they're using MCPs for all of them. Secondly, how can we manage our own APIs? Manage your own APIs? I think it's a very simple question. Like if you're building a server, you're already managing your APIs within your server. All right, so no more questions. How does MCP manage authentication? Yeah. So just this month, MCP doesn't authenticate. It's stateless. Let's take a Azan break for like a minute. Okay, so so how does MCP manage authentication? So you're confusing between authentication and authorization. So you're saying like an API we send JWT. JWT is basically authorization. Authentication is just when you authentication is like, okay, I want to enter in your party or enter in your university. So for that, I need to probably give my CNIC, outside of to some guard or to some official sitting outside of university. To actually get into the class, I need a student card, right? So there's a difference. Anybody can enter your university, but but only the folks who have a student card can sit in your class. So that's authorization. Similarly, we need JWT just to, if you have a product and if you're exposing your APIs, you would need authorization to access those APIs. And for authorization, you need to be authenticated. MCP is stateless. It doesn't require authentication at all. So you don't have to worry about, for it to remember you. Every single call, MCP call, is a call in itself. So it doesn't require being remembered or at all. Yeah, there is a handshake involved. I'll explain that handshake. I have a diagram for that. So Tamanat says, what I understand from the recent examples in API and MCP cases, server was same, but how to talk to server? Yes, exactly. Talking to server has changed, and mostly where MCP comes in, where we want our agents to communicate to different tools. For example, if you're there's an example that I would demonstrate in this session as well. So let's say you guys have a portal. Your portal has your grades, your portal has your registered courses, every detail about your degree, right? Nobody else has that information. But if you want to build a system that sort of talks to your portal, or you want to build an agent, a university agent, and anybody, you can give away that app to anybody. It can be a mobile app where you can get your timetable, or you can get your course registration done through an agent. For that, you would have to ask your university to expose those APIs. Otherwise, you cannot directly communicate with their system, right? So that is a problem, and that's where initially people would make the middlewares, something like this. But if you want an agent to do that, you need an MCP server hosted within your campus. And your university can say, okay, this is our MCP server, and if any agents want to talk, it can talk to that. So that was the whole case. And I would demonstrate that that example as well. So I've built a little MCP server which has some dummy data of your what's the menu of the cafeteria today. Are there any study rooms available? Something like that. So we'll see that actually in our Claude Code. So I hope this makes sense. I hope the idea about MCP is clear, like why it exists and what problem does it solve. Why it exists: it enables multiple entities to talk to multiple products. There was an N into M problem, which is converted to M plus N problem, N plus M problem. That solves maintainability, scalability. So these are the 3 pointers that you need to remember whenever you're thinking about MCP, or if anybody asks you a question, like what is the difference between API and MCP? All right. Let's move ahead. Let me shrink this down to see where my other diagrams are. Okay, so let's talk about Claude now. So how many of you are aware of what Claude Code is? One, just one, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh man. Okay, so decent amount of people. So Claude Code, if you know, it's more like an editor, a smart editor. It has access to Claude's LLMs and all these 4 LLMs. Currently, the ones that Claude offers is Sonnet, Haiku, Opus, and Fable. You guys have heard about them, right? You guys, or you, in some capacity, have you guys used it or not? Like, what's... Okay, so you guys are pretty well accustomed with it. Awesome. Now, the thing is, Claude is a great source. Claude Code is a great source where you can actually, use MCP servers to interact with different products as well. Because why not? We're in our working space, and if I want to talk to GitHub, I can talk to it. If I want to talk to Slack, everything would be great. Life would be good. But how does Claude does that? One of the question was like, how does it actually interact with all these products? So listen carefully, because that explanation is coming in here. So when I say Claude Code, you have to think of it as a host. Now, there's more detail to it, but that's not the topic of this webinar. because there's a whole idea about an agent harness and what a harness is. So I won't go into those details. I'm just calling it a host for now. And all these hosts have access to LLMs, and it can have access to different tools as well. And one of those tools can be these clients. So Claude generates these clients, and for example, it has access to MCP. And as many applications you have, your Claude Code would actually spin up different clients, one for every application. For example, we have 3 here. I have 4 here. There should be 4, but you guys get the idea, right? So for 4 applications, 4 clients, one for each application. So that's what you need to know. Again, N plus M. So if you have M applications, you need M clients here. So that's the thing. So the clients exist within the Claude Code. And the MCP protocol, which is a protocol, it just enables your Claude Code to talk to these applications. That's what you need. That's what you need to keep in mind. And that's the whole drill. That's how it interacts. Now, let's talk about how the interaction happens, because okay, so there's a question. Abdullah says, sir, can you explain this part again? Claude and MCP, what are clients? Okay, obviously, if you have, so you know about the official servers, something that we just explained, that all these different products, they have their official MCP servers. Now, Claude generates clients to talk to each application. That's the whole concept. So it's like if you want to send a mail to someone, you will be the sender, and your postman would be the client who would actually send that mail to your friend. So in this case, these clients are the postman for Claude. So they're responsible for the end-to-end, connection between Claude and MCP servers. I hope that made sense, right? Okay, cool. Thank you. Let's move on. All right. So up till now, we've talked about how, how MCP accesses, MCP provides access to Claude Code, but let's talk about how MCP, with the story that starts from here. Up till now, we've been talking about this whole thing here. But let's talk about how this little guy talks to multiple applications. So that's what we want to discuss next. Okay. So, and now this is like one of the examples. Consider this use case. So, and obviously I'll be explaining that through this particular use case. So this is your localhost server. This can be a localhost server, and this can be a server that you deployed on your, in your university somewhere. And what this server does, it offers you 3 utilities, 3 functionalities. Firstly, one of the first functionality, what is the menu of the cafeteria, so that you can deduce, okay, if I want to eat today or not, or I want to eat home or I want to eat outside. So this functionality would actually help you. Then I have list study rooms, which means how many, is there any space in library? If there is, I want to book that space. I have exam coming up and I want my me time. And then book study room. This can be, again, like different pods. I don't know if your university have them, but you can book these pods in universities. So a server, a set of functionalities, and a database to store your data. How would MCP sort of connect with this? That's the task in hand, and that's what we want to achieve. So considering this is your MCP server and you have these set of functionalities, we want a way that this interacts with the server and the server responds to MCP, and our Claude Code in general can just display the answer to us. So how do we do it? So first, these are the set of details that you need to know. Now, Now it's don't worry about it. There's a lot of text, but this text is relevant. So I have some additional text here and here. So let's talk about this first. The very first step, the handshake step, is the initialize step. This is where your MCP protocol sort of asks your server like, hey, what's up? Are you good? Your server can, it's more like, checking a pulse on someone like, okay, are you alive? Or you're just, yeah. So that's the thing. So your server respond, yep, I'm good. In more technical terms, now this was non-technical term like, hey, what's up? In more technical term, you can actually read this. So the client sends the protocol a version it speaks. So all these protocols have different versions, and the client would tell that, okay, what are my capabilities? What are my names? So it would just tell the information about the client itself, like who am I? What do I do? All those stuff. And it waits for the server to respond with the server information. Now, what is the server information? What does the server have? This is all the information in terms of tool sets. Like, okay, these are the stuff that I can do. And it's just like saying like, hey, what do you do? Yeah, I code and stuff. In my agent's code, I don't code these days, but yeah, that's what I'm a software engineer. That would be our introduction, right? So this is exactly what's happening here. The very first handshake step is initialize, but that's only one part of step. There are 3 steps whenever MCP, integrates with the server. Now, coming on to the second step. So once the handshake is complete, every single time, your client wants to interact with your MCP servers, it would make this call here. Now, this is the second call, and this says tool/list. Like, it just means it's like asking the server again, like, okay, what is your tool set? And your server would sort of respond to that. The database does not have like an active role here. It's just here to store data. So the third step is, let's say it's you, and you have a question, a simple question like, what is for lunch today? Now, how does Claude, and you're asking this question to Claude Code, right? So you just post this question like, what is for lunch? Now, how your Claude Code would work, it would figure out, okay, I'm being asked for lunch. So what does lunch mean? Let me go through my clients and let's see which client has something to do with lunch. Now, it doesn't know what lunch is, or if there's a cafeteria or your university has an MCP server, it doesn't know jack, right? Up till this point. But then it will be like, oh, I think this is the client. This is the one. So I think it deals with lunches and stuff and menus. So let me talk to this. So it would go right here. All right, the protocol, and it would go through the initialize step. It would get a response. Initialize is just like, hey, what's up? Yeah, I'm good. Then it would be like, okay, what tools you've got? And the server would be like, yeah, I've got like, get canteen menu. It just sends you, lunch and stuff. What's for lunch today? I've got list study rooms. I've got book study rooms, and I would return it to Claude. And Claude be like, oh, I know now. It says canteen. It says lunch. So yeah, this has to be the method. I need to call this method. And finally, it would make a tool call. Now this step here is tool/call, and this call would be for canteen menu. So this call would be made, and the data would be returned back to Claude like, okay, today's menu is XYZ. This is like the process of the whole life cycle of how MCP interacts with different applications. And these steps are not just for your server. These steps are for all the applications out there. So it's not something specific. It's something general. So, and again, where do you think the menu would be stored? The menu would be obviously be stored in the database. So it would actually call this function, check the database, and send you the response. Any questions? Okay, can we find Truff MCP? What's a Truff MCP? Is that a typo? All of the menu, if you don't know anything about the menu. The MCP server talks to the application. Yes, that's the idea. And then asks for particular, you gotta send in your full, I'm very bad with abbreviation, so I don't get the question with us. So can you type it again? Like particular dist. What is dist? Is it distance? Is it dystopia? Is it dish? Yeah. See, you were the problem. Yeah, you can actually, do that. But that obviously you have to write some logic for it. Another question from Mr. Umar Zaman. Sir, is every agent is like a client for MCP? Yes, an agent is a client for MCP. So an agent is a separate Python function, but Claude Code is not an agent. Claude Code has an agent within Claude Code. So Claude Code is like a big product which has multiple things going on inside it. So the way it works is a little different. So yeah. I hope the server has Mustafa is like, the server has the tools like get canteen menu. How does it execute it? It asks the application. That's what I meant. Oh, yeah. So no, it doesn't ask the application. The server would execute it by itself. And I'll show you how it does that. Are you also going to teach some Claude Code basics? Claude Code is this. I don't think you need basics for that. This is Claude Code, that's it. This is Claude Code. You just ask stuff here. But yeah, if you want to learn about Claude Code, I can show you some bits on my YouTube channel. So if you're interested, if this subject sort of interests you, I can take you to all right, so this is my channel. I won't shamelessly ask you to subscribe it. So I have a dedicated video on, I think, okay, so if you want to learn about skills, so this was my latest video on Claude Code skills. So this is like a complete tutorial, and skills are the most active thing that are happening right now within the Claude Code interface. So you can just, see this video and you'll actually get the basics of it, because skills is a totally different topic. MCP is a totally different topic. So that's why if I start talking about skills, it would be a problem. And you see, that's me. The one you see, that's a fake Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire. Yeah, I don't know why he wears Spider-Man suit. So that's the real one. That's me. So if you want to learn about MCP, you can watch this video.
I can't see the screen.
You can't see the screen? Oh man, that is so sad, because I just went through the whole commentary. Okay, no problem. You guys can see it right now, right?
Yeah.
Thank you. You should have just told me that. Okay, so so this is my channel. And one of the videos, so this is the video I was actually routing you guys to. So this is about Claude Code skills, and you can learn about how to build skills and how you can, skills is the only thing that you need to know, and that's the most active thing. So you can actually do that if you want to learn about MCP. So yeah, so that's what I was saying. The pictures you see on the internet, that's fake. That's the real one. So, even if you want to learn a bit more about MCP, so yeah, this would sort of help you. Yeah, don't laugh. This is a real picture. This is not AI generated. I don't know. Okay, this is a session about AI, but the picture is so real. Trust me. My mother tells me not to lie. I'm a good son. All right. Any more questions?
Cute.
If me, yeah. I was born that way. Thank you. if we use MCP instead of API in our server, does it will slow our server because of load m number? Yeah, if you use MCP, that's a better solution. So no, it won't slow you down. Name of your channel, please. Oh, since you ask. So it's the Code Cruise. No, I'm not a big fan of Johnny Depp or Pirates of Caribbean. Okay, so that's everything about Claude Code, and I think we can jump into a more practical version of it. So let me share the other part of my screen. So this is where we'll actually build some good stuff with Claude Code.
Sir, the things you have teach in today's session, is it uploaded on your YouTube channel?
Yeah, not exactly. Some things are different, but almost like 60% stuff you can find it over there. Because
So
most of
can we
those
get the
videos.
recording of today's session?
Yeah. The session is being recorded. Don't worry.
Okay, thank you.
You would get the recording for this session. I hope probably X I can provide you with that. Right. So we are. Can you guys see the screen? So you guys see the Claude Code, right? Okay, yes. Cool. Let me walk you guys through it. So this is like one of the project that I built just to demonstrate. Now the thing is, so I have a couple of things and I'll explain it one by one. How many of you know Python? Because this is in Python. I just want to see a number. Okay, how many people know Python here? Raise hand. Basics. Yeah, we only need basics. Raise hands. I'll try to explain. If you guys are not very well aware of it, I can try to, be a bit nice and not to scare you guys. Okay, like almost like not a 50% room, but some of you folks know Python. All right, tough crowd. So the thing is, this is the very same example that I just demonstrated of, your university having an MCP server. So what does that mean? That means that this is my file. Let me go through this file first. So let me collapse everything so that you can actually get a better view of the implementation. So you don't have to worry about this. These are just import statements. And there's a package fast MCP that you can use to build MCP servers in Python. So it's kind of really popular. And then I have a data file. Since I don't have a database right now, I've just used a data file, which is just a simple JSON file. And this is the file. So this is my canteen menu. Monday, we have chicken biryani. How many of you people are from Karachi? Is there someone from Karachi? Oh yeah. Yeah, that's but hey, it's Independence Day. I've got green all around me, so let's not grill anybody for having a better chicken biryani. But yeah, Lahore has a better chicken biryani because it doesn't have aloo in it, and aloo just ruins the blah 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 blah. Yeah, it's more like filling space in a biryani. Did I say that? Oh, sorry. Where were we? Oh, yeah. So, yeah, of 14 August. Oh, yeah. Sorry, Manoj. So, dal makhni with naan, and Tuesday we have veggie burger. What does that even mean? Tomato soup. I actually generated this bit. Probably generated a wrong menu for California. Nobody serves tomato soup in Lahore, and this seems like a very rich menu, like rich kids menu. Fruit bowls. We have fruit bowls. Pasta Alfredo. Is that something you guys get in your university? Grilled chicken wraps. Yeah, that's brownies Thursday. So yeah, So it's just a JSON object which has canteen menu, which has study rooms, and you have some, details about the room. Let's say this is room 101. It has capacity of 4 people. You can book it, and 11 a.m. Fatima. For some reason, all the Fatimas are toppers. God bless Fatimas. And we also have library pods. Similarly, capacity 2 people booking. So it's a JSON object. I couldn't afford a database, and I couldn't explain it with a database. So I thought a JSON file would be better. So this is the file being used here. The idea is that this will be our database, the data layer. And if I have any question, my MCP server would just, read through this JSON file and answer. So it's just more like an abstraction. Okay, so I initialize my MCP. It's just a. So what university did you attend? Sure, I have my master's from LUMS, and I went to UCP as well for my bachelor's. Yeah, that's my LinkedIn. Thank you for stalking me and putting it publicly out there. Oh no, I'm a public speaker, so that's fine. All right. So what comes next? So we have one method, load data, and we have save data. So these methods are mostly like if I want to load the JSON object or save data to it, but they're not relevant to this particular use case. So I'm just going to skip them, and I'm going to scroll them right here, this here. So if you see, I'm adding a decorator. This is called decorator. So the decorator is more like a tool. So remember this. Let me just share the full screen here because I think we would need it. Oh, we have full screen. Awesome. So remember this here. So these 3 are tools. In MCP context, it's called tools. So that's all you need to know. Because whenever an MCP initializes, it asks for, it asks you to list the tools. If you're a server, it would ask you, okay, how many tools you've got? So you have to list the tools. And then it would call one of those tools. So in this context, these are these 3 tools. Get canteen menu, list study rooms, and book study rooms. Just plain functions, nothing biggie here. Okay, so an MCP, when you just put this decorator on a particular method, it just informs that, okay, this method is a tool. And whenever you get a question about tool, you have to sort of specify these 3 methods. So that's what it is about. Is it clear here? Like, do you guys get it? Or is it just like, psh? Okay, good. Please elaborate. I'll try to elaborate. So this is a Python function, and this is a JSON file. JSON file has all the data in it. It has your canteen menu. It has, details about study room and library pods. This is just a storage file. So nothing to elaborate here. So it's just plain data, a dummy data that I've just gathered. And I'll be using it for, as a replacement for my database, because I don't have a database currently, and it would be more hard to sort of elaborate with an actual working database. So I just use this file, right? So you're good with this? Next, we have the actual campus server. So this is my MCP server. And this server actually just gives you 3 tools. So these are the tools that we mentioned here. And these are the tools that I would want to list whenever somebody, in this case, Claude Code, asks for something specific for the tool, and it can actually return you that tool. So that's the whole idea about it. So the tools actually, if I just open one of these tools, they just actually go into this file and just find relevant stuff. That's what these tools do. But for simplicity, these are the tools. All you have to understand for now that these are the tools that your university server exposes. And since this is an MCP file, I'm creating an MCP server. I'm initializing it as a campus helper. So this is the name of the server. So it's a very small file. It's just, reading the dummy data and returning it to you. So that's how it works. And whenever you're creating an MCP server, for example, this whole file set here is an MCP server, you have to create mcp.json, especially in Claude Code, because this tells your Claude Code or different other applications, it's again a JSON file, and it tells you that, okay, I have a campus server that I want to run, and these are the commands for which I have to run it. So, and these are just the commands to run Python. So if this is your file, this is right here, and the Python code is just used to run that particular file, right? So that's all you need to know. But this file is sort of compulsory whenever you're creating a MCP server. So that's like one bit of the detail that you have to hold on to. Okay, so what next? How can we sort of interact with it? Now, if I open Claude Code, and let me move this around here. Now I would just go ahead and ask Claude Code, what is for lunch today? Also, what I forgot to mention about this particular file, which is mcp.json, is that whenever you mention your particular file here, it would, in background, whenever you open Claude Code, it would run this file in the background. So your file is already running now. And I'll show you what it means when I say it's running. So when I say, what is for lunch today, I hit enter and we wait. So now it just said itself. It didn't go to the internet. It didn't actually return anything to me. It said, I'll check the campus canteen menu for you. Now, where did it get the campus canteen menu? Because in MCP JSON, we explain it to it that we have a campus server. And within this file, we actually told it that there is a tool which is called get canteen menu or list study rooms or book study room. So it already knows this stuff. And it's asking me, do you want to proceed with MCP campus get canteen menu? Now, if you see, this diagram that I explained, it's actually happening live right now. So this is exactly what we said. And it went through these steps, and it actually gave me get canteen menu back. And now I have to hit like, okay, go ahead, execute this. Now, this is the result. Canteen menu for Thursday. It figured out itself that today is Thursday, and it fetched in chicken karahi, vegetable pulao kheer. Today's canteen menu for Thursday is this. Awesome, right? What's the menu for tomorrow? Let's see if it figures out that it's Friday, because that's what it figured it out. Canteen menu for Friday: pizza, margarita and pepperoni, Caesar salad. Oh, I don't think so. And ice cream. I don't think you guys get Caesar salad in your university. So yeah, that's how it works. So what we learn is like, you can build an MCP server. This can be any server. And this can have a particular tool list. It can have a database. And you just need one protocol that sits in between. And you can build as many servers as you want, as many stuff as you want, right? If it wasn't for this, so we didn't use any API. We just built a server, and that's how, and now agents can access it, Claude Code can access it, you can access it through APIs as well. So it's a multi-channel protocol that helps you attain all of this. So yeah, any questions? Okay, I think there's one question. In this scenario, Claude Code has a campus data JSON file, but how would this change if you actually needed to talk to maybe a restaurant app? Yeah, the restaurant has to provide me a similar server like this. either deployed somewhere or I have to build it for them. So that's the take. Any other question? .mcp JSON file name has to be the same. Yes, this is a standard file name. It cannot be different. It has to be .mcp.json. So yeah, it's not like you can have any other file. So this is more like a middleware file that every agent or any provider would access before, because this has the main information that you have to run Python campus_server.py to actually run the file. So this means whenever Claude Code sees this file, it just executes these commands. So that's what it means. All right. So yeah, irrelevant question, but what's the best way to use Claude Code free? They do offer it for free. You can use it for free, but it comes with limited session limits. So that is one caveat. So if you hit a particular set of tokens, it would actually it would actually stop working for a few hours, and then you can retry again. So that's the thing. So yeah, that's everything for this session. We can take like 5 to 10 minutes for question and answers, concerns, or if you have questions about this topic, or if not, that then we can.
Thank you, Awais. We're open to the questions, guys. If you have any question, you can raise your hand, and you will be in the queue, and we will choose one person who would ask the question. Awais will answer, and after that, the next person can question. Yes, Mudassir, you can go on, please.
Assalamu alaikum.
Welcome.
Okay. So my question is, for example, if there is a certain links field and certain softwares like that, they provide an MCP server. Okay. So if we are using Claude Code or Cursor, so there are multiple options that software provides. For example, there is a video editor and there is an audio editor and all those things. So I'm a novice to all this, but my question is how through, for example, if we are asking Cursor or Claude Code to first generate a video, then edit it, then add a voice to it. So there are 3 or 4 or 5 functions that have to be called differently. So first of all, how we would know that through which functions are available through MCP, and how we will call them one by one?
Okay, so you won't be calling them. That's the first misconception. Your agent would be calling them. And yet again, if I can reshare my screen again, if you see this diagram, so here, the second step is where it asks to list all the tools. So the tools here would be sent back to the server, and that's not the full part of story. And that's the most, let me share my screen again. So coming back, let's say I have these tools in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how your server or your application or your agent would make sense that I have to call this particular function?
Mm-hmm.
That's through the doc string. That is a must whenever you're writing a function. So the highlighted stuff here on the screen that you see, this says get the campus canteen menu for a day of the week or today. So this is how your agent or the LLM makes sense that, okay, this is relevant function and I need to call it. It doesn't actually get the whole idea from the name of the function. So it needs this description, this doc string, which is a must. But it doesn't actually, so coming back to this diagram here, So this life cycle is important to know, because the second part here is listing the tool list. You'll get the list, but how once the Claude Code has access to your tool list and access to the doc strings that I just showed you, then it will figure out, okay, which tool amongst these three should I call? So that's how it progresses. So you, as a user, would just, send a very plain message that, okay, I have a video, edit this video in this time, or probably just put up a voice from 11 Labs. So now it would figure it out itself. It would break down it into two steps. Okay, first I have to do the video, and then I have to do 11 Labs. Okay, do I have MCP for 11 Labs, and do I have an MCP for the video editing? So that's how it would figure it out on its own.
For each step, multiple MCPs will be connected.
Yes, that's the best case scenario. Like if there are, which there should be for most products out there, there are MCPs available for them.
One more question. Once
Sure.
the data, for example, the video that is going in, if it is going to, for example, 11 Labs, then after being processed, it's coming back from 11 Labs. So where does the storage, how the storage is going to be on my own server or on the agent, or is quite confusing?
Yeah. So for example, if you ask for image generation, something like this, let's talk about image generation. So obviously you would the storage part would obviously, for example, whenever you build images in Canva, they're stored in Canva. It's not like they would actually, the Canva sends it to you. It's still, the storage of Canva is being used to store your images. MCP is just a bridge. It sort of really helps pave the communication. So that's how it. So you won't be doing the storage yourself. The storage would be of the server, MCP server. Even for example, in this particular example that I just showed, I'm just using Claude Code. So it's not leveraging any storage. The file that exists within this code, this was on my server. So Claude Code doesn't have to, manage the storage or anything.
Okay. But again, still the question is, once it's processed by 11 Labs, then it has to go to some other software. How will that those transformations will come up?
Okay, so it's a multi-step process. So it's not like you would have a final product just by one. So 11 Labs won't take the video, by the way. 11 Labs, you would just use either the MCP or their APIs to generate voices. So they would actually give the voices back to you, and then your application would have to stitch it together. So it's not like the whole 11 Labs as a separate entity can provide you its own MCP. You can use it. If you're using an editing software, you can use their MCP as well. So otherwise, you'll have to write your own server and use their APIs, which is a way. But I just showed you that it's a very bad. It's a very sort of a bad practice considered in 2026. So if there is an MCP available, just use it.
Yeah.
As of now, as far as I know, I don't think 11 Labs offers. I'm not sure entirely. I never used 11 Labs MCP, but yeah, it's a matter of exploration.
Yeah, the question was stuck in my mind. The thing is, one particular object is going to be handled to multiple what you would call agents or things like that. So that was my main thing stuck in my mind.
Also, we need to move on to the next person.
Yeah,
as
yeah,
well.
sure. Please go ahead.
Awais, would you like to answer,
Thank you.
or should I move to Bushra? Okay, perfect. So the next person who can ask the question would be Bushra. Bushra, you had your hand raised. Do you still want to ask the question? Okay, I think she doesn't want to ask a question anymore. Is there anyone else who want to ask any question from Awais?
Hello.
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 Sir, I want to ask about the career advice. Like, I had applied at concerts, G-Key, and all those emails. I didn't make it into Nust because merit was like high. So now I have
Mhm.
option of ComSearch Islamabad campus and GKey. For GKey, I have applied for the FA. Results are not declared yet, and I'm waiting. So they have told me that you have to wait. There is a chance, but there is no confirmation that I will make it to GKey. So now I have option of the ComSearch Islamabad for my BS
Yeah,
AI.
go to
So
ComSats Islamabad. That's not bad at all. It's like one of the top universities in Pakistan, by the way. Lums is in, I guess, number 5. NUST is number 3, 2. ComStats has been in top. ComStats Islamabad, so it's a good. And don't really confine yourself in terms of universities. Really, the sort of time that we are in, it's very dynamic. So so I don't think, if you ask me, I'm not one of those people who would say that you should be biased about universities. It's more about you can go to the best universities and still end up not having a job, and it is
yes,
happening to a lot of my friends, a lot of my students. So it's a thing, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't go to, if you have access to it, if you have the means to it. Yeah, that doesn't mean you should not go to the best universities. You should. But if you can make it there, either through by not landing on the merit, on not being able to afford it, or due to whatever financial reasons, you shouldn't be holding yourself hostage for it. That okay, it doesn't mean that you won't have a career or you won't be successful. Success is not dependent on the names of universities or anything.
all right. Thank you so much. I was a little concerned that a uni is going to
No, it
matter
shouldn't be.
much, but
No, it shouldn't be.
thank you.
Okay, that's quite an amazing answer, I think. Okay, so any other questions? If you have any question, please raise your hand. There is something in the chat also. I'm interested
Yep.
how Claude reads the Figma design, scroll Figma, get design tokens.
Yeah, I'm interested how Claude reads the Figma design, scroll Figma, get design tokens, dimension paddings. Yeah, I don't know the exact underlying details because Figma never, made it public. I don't know how they're doing it, but has to be some mechanism around it. Also, why is that important? Like, I mean, वो जो कहावत है कि यार आप फल से उम्मीद रखें बस. Why, just eat the fruit. Don't worry about the irrigation. Don't worry about how the tree went up there. So if they're open source an MCP and you can use it, just use it. You never know what their underlying details are. Another question is, I have multiple agents, for example, 8 agents, how I'm able to communicate with each other. Yeah, bro. I think you have to rephrase it. I don't get your question. With each other, get our final output result. Okay, what I understood, what you can do, what do you need here if you have multiple agents? I have a bug in my room. If you have multiple agents, you have to use a framework. So if you're using a framework like Google ADK or Crew.ai or different other agentic frameworks, so they cater this problem for you by default. So they cater how the agents communicate. And there's a way, they come with a memory layer where the agents can write to that memory, and that's how they communicate with each other. So yeah, that's the thing.
I think that's pretty much it. We have got all the questions, and you have answered to all the questions very nicely and in so much detail. Thank you. What do you see going in next 2 years? I think this is going to be the last question, but I like the question, so we're going to take that.
Where do you see? Okay, that's the question. The real question should have been, where does AI see us going in 2 years?
Absolutely.
Oh man, it's been like 2022 was when we got the very first version of ChatGPT, November 2022. Yeah. Ever since then, it's been on a roller coaster ride. Things have been crazy. So nobody can predict that, honestly. But what I can tell you right now, it's Agentic AI is on its boom. So I think AI models would get better. What I've seen happen is like 2022, 2023 were peak years for AI innovation. There's no innovation right now. There's just, new products coming in, products being improved, new MCP servers coming in, the quality of those servers getting better. So I feel like the AI is plateauing, and that's what I'm seeing right now. But that doesn't mean that, it's done for sure. I think there will be more products, but I don't think we are ready in terms of accepting AI. In terms of work, in terms of education. If you ask me, a 4-year degree, does it make sense now? I don't know. Will we continue having these 4-year degrees? Yes, we will. We need reforms. Our teachers, our instructors have to work harder we have to work harder. Now, imagine everybody's doing CS, and all these CEOs are actually saying that we don't have a way to accommodate everybody to provide such jobs because certain roles are shrinking. So yeah, a lot is going on. So it's hard to predict. But I can tell you this, that you have to stay up to date. That's what I do at least. I don't know what's going to happen, but the best I do is to, adopt continuous learning and just, keep on learning. It will go somewhere.
Yeah, I think that's quite a good take. And I think this is a hot topic literally in every webinar, that where AI is going and where we will be going with it or not. So
the real question is that, but yeah, so Maz has a very interesting question I want to ask is GPA truly matter in the real world? If yes, then where and what's the minimum a student graduate? You should have a CGPA. You have a good CGPA, because that's the only thing you have to do right now. And if you cannot do this, to the best of your effort, then you're just a sore loser. I'm sorry to say that, because I get this question a lot. And it's like everybody wants to run away from this. I don't want to study, but CGPA matters. They just want to hear that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you have achieved a lot of things. If you have built a company like Mark Zuckerberg, then yes, CGPA doesn't matter. Otherwise, you're just going to be a loser with, just a low CGPA who can't find a job or something like that. So, and there are a lot of ways. You can start your own company. You can start your own freelance agency. You can do a very impressive research paper. You can do a lot of things. If you have a low CGPA and you're working in your university and building experience, that matters. But if studying is the only thing that you're doing right now, that's the only thing you have to do. So you should have a good CGPA.
yeah,
So
I
so it's
totally
not
agree
like,
with that.
yeah, so I'm not one of those guys who would actually say even if you want to get a job in Lahore, Pakistan, you should have a good CGPA, because I don't think a lot of companies, they don't hire below 3. So
Yep.
even if they do, you should be really bright in terms of, you should have other stuff going on. You should have a reason that for having a low CGPA. Okay, I started working in my university from semester 6. That's why I have a low CGPA. It makes sense because you have work experience on your table. I did a good research work. I, went for a exchange semester program or whatnot. So you don't hide behind excuses. Work hard. Try to have a good CGPA. I'm not saying you should have a 3.9 or 4, but at least a decent CGPA, 3.2, 3.4, 3.5 hours, decent CGPAs, and you should strive for that at least. It's not that much.
Yeah, I think that's quite a rare take and an important take because,
Yeah.
recently people will always talk about, does degree matter? Do we need to, have a bachelor's degree or a master's degree? I think it does matter, especially when you are when you are also moving in a management side. You really need a master's degree as well. So I think we need to now wrap up the session, because we were planning it to wrap it up on 9, but I think it was quite amazing. Everybody was loving it, and I think we got to learn a lot about Claude Code, about servers and everything. Thank you so much, Awais, for coming here, for giving such a detailed session, catering to each and every question, and make it very lively as well. Usually the webinars, they die down after a little time, but you made it so alive, and we really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thank you for having me, and lovely having you guys here. And happy Independence Day. So that's one thing. So wear your colors with pride. That's one one-liner that I would leave you with. A lot of people say a lot about their own countries, and people criticize our country, a lot. We criticize our country a lot, sometimes. But like just one take, I've been, abroad as well. I worked abroad. And one thing I can guarantee, one thing I can guarantee you guys is there's no place like home. So just sort of respect it where you are right now, because you won't find it anywhere else. We cannot change the color of our skin. Maybe we can change the color of our passport. That's a debate for some other day. But we should always respect our motherland, and just happy Independence Day, and just reflect what this country has given to you. There might be something, maybe one or two very integral things. Take care of yourself, and thank you so much for having me. This was great.
Yeah, thank you. Also, guys, just a side note, Awais was saying that universities are not serving Caesar salad when LUMS is doing that, and Awais is from LUMS. That's pretty much it, guys. Thank you so much for.
They're serving it now. Yeah, they weren't serving it before.
Yeah, they're just doing it in SDSB.
Yeah.
So
that,
okay,
there
guys. Thank you so much. And if you need any recording. If you need any recording, you can email me. The email is with you on your reminder emails. Also, अगर आपको उसके अलावा भी कुछ चाहिए हो, you can literally reply back to the emails you have gotten, or you have received some WhatsApp messages as well. You can reply back to that, and you will be provided with the recording of this session. And to stay connected for the upcoming sessions, we will be reaching out to you again. Thank you so much. Yes, I will share the LinkedIn maybe later. Thank you so much, guys. Have an amazing day. Allah Hafiz. Sorry, Bursha, I'm just sharing it. I do not have it in my hand at the moment. Just give me a second.